Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
Tonight's topic is money in politics and money in journalism. I don't know how much you two are aware of a couple of things that happened in the last 2 weeks. One is there was a article by Wired magazine, I think, Wired.com,
well,
whatever.
I don't know if it's a real magazine anymore, but it was a magazine at one point.
Yeah, Wired.com by Taylor Lorenz, talking about some dark money that certain left-leaning YouTubers were, and by left-leaning, I like moderate left, not like the most progressive, but like left.
Well, I mean, the accusation is they're
Republicans.
getting paid by the Democratic Party, so not very far left was the whole.
Right.
That was the issue. They're not far enough left because they're getting paid by the Democratic Party.
Right. Well, and the
less
idea
progressive
being
overall.
that the idea being like dark money's not a great thing anyway.
Though before we go too far into it, the YouTubers who are accused are like, "No, you idiots! That's not what this is. It's completely different. Yes, it's money, but it's funding for people to do podcasting and classes on how to do podcasting to get the messages out." So there is a disagreement over what the money is. What an article says it's money to toe the line.
Yeah.
And the people involved said, no, it's money that we pay out to other people. One of them says, I don't get paid by it. I'm one of the donors that sponsors it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question of what the money is and what it really is.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos, and there has been nothing that has properly refuted the article. Like they
except it's just an article. Like I can write an article. Doesn't mean it's evidence.
No, but it's well sourced and anyway,
is it?
The point being,
it's an article.
Okay. Anyway, the point being,
you only know it's well sourced if you've spoken to the source. Because I can write, Michael Cole said this, and unless you check Michael Cole to see if he said it, it doesn't mean it's sourced well just because I said Michael Cole said it.
True.
So, I mean, I'm saying like I don't want to go on record as being on one side or the other, since it's not like you caught us with our pants down. There's a debate going on, and I don't know which side of the debate is accurate. So we can talk about the issue without declaring that one side or the other is correct in the particular case. It doesn't make a difference for the theoretical whether it's actually happening.
And for what I wanted to talk about, it doesn't make that much of a difference either. Like, I think that dark money is a bad idea in general. The idea being that, I didn't really know that was the term for it, but like the idea of like anonymous donors putting into a fund, so you don't know, we can't like audit the more not dark money. I don't know what the opposite of dark money is. You can see like, Matthew gave $35, Smith and Wesson gave $2,500.
It's not as public.
It's not at all public of who the donors are, which is problematic, I think, especially when you're talking about politics and when you're talking about journalism.
Yeah.
Things where we need a certain level of
I don't consider
integrity.
YouTubers journalists. I mean,
agreed.
Because they're all opinion pieces. None of them are saying,
sure,
I've been vetted by an ombudsman to say that I'm saying actual facts. Anyone you see on YouTube, that's just their opinion, and that's their spin. Don't take anybody as it's a New York Times article that's gone through an editor and an ombudsman and a lawyer.
Fair.
That's not journalism. That's the opinion page.
Just opinion
it could be anything
Except
in the
that's
world.
what Wired did, and you just said, it's just an article, but they had a lawyer and they had.
It doesn't mean it's accurate either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, it's not journal. But like theirs is a journalist article, and maybe it's right, maybe it's accurate, maybe it's not.
To fight once in
but
a while.
the other ones aren't even. I mean, like the people like David Pakman and the other people who are on it, they're not. We are impartial. I mean, the fact that you're saying that we're saying they're on the left means they're not journalists.
Yeah.
They're opinion people because they're on the left. If you're on a side, you're not a journalist.
Yeah, no, and I to be completely,
or you're not a good journalist. In maybe the modern world you are, but you're not what a journalist should be.
They're commentators.
Twitter is not the news, despite what some people want it to be.
They're what do they call them? Not talking heads, but the other when you've got people on pundits. They're pundits.
Yeah,
But anyway, the point. I still think that the point holds up.
Don't pundits make puns? I thought pundits were the ones who make puns.
They're supposed to.
Oh, and look who's a pundit all of a sudden.
Oh,
So anyway, so that happened. That article came out, and it's not the first. There was an article 3 to 6 months ago about this same kind of thing happening on the right with a guy that it wasn't a real person from, I think he was supposed to be from France, but it ended up being likely to be Russian oligarch money.
Oh, yeah, last year there was a bunch of people were getting paid $8,000 an episode or something from Russia.
No, it wasn't 8,000. It was hundreds of thousands.
No, per episode though, so it was 100,000 per year. Because 8 per episode, they did 3 episodes a week. So it quickly added up to hundreds of thousands.
Some
of
Tim
dollars.
Pool money right there.
I might be wrong about 8,000. I was just saying that's the number I remember. It might be wrong, but it was something like
8,000's from the new article.
Like
they were
ridiculous
talking about
per episode to get that much sponsorship.
They were making more money than I've ever made in a year in my life per episode.
So do those actors on Friends.
Yeah, but
are they
you know what? We know what they're getting paid for. So anyway, it's not a new thing, but this new article came out kind of calling out some people on the left for it. And at the same time as that happened, The Paper came out last Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever the 4th was, which is the new spin-off of The Office. And clearly you guys haven't watched it.
I saw an ad for it or something. I don't have TV.
It's Peacock. It's not it's not NBC, it's Peacock. And it's
I don't have that one.
It's really good. For a first season comedy, which I know sometimes can be like kind of sticky, like they can kind of jam up a bit, especially the pilot and stuff. It was really good. It's different enough from The Office that it's not like, oh, this is just a ripoff. But what the plot of the show is Dunder Mifflin got purchased by some other paper company, and that paper company shut down.
Like The Office to me.
Yeah, it does sound like it, but it's not going to be. So they shut down the Scranton office. So Oscar moved to Toledo, and he works in in the same basic position, but instead of at a paper company that sells paper, they are a toilet paper company that bought a newspaper, the Toledo Times or whatever. I forget what the name of the paper
They're trying to run it, but none of them are.
And they're trying to run it. And so it's
that
good.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I saw it like a trailer, an ad, or whatever, and I was like, "Why is he playing another character named Oscar? Like, why is his character the same name?"
Same character.
So that makes sense.
And there's like little references, but there's not so many that it's obnoxious. Like sometimes it drives me crazy when a spinoff is like, "Remember, we used to be a good show." No, that wasn't doing that too much.
Oh man, Joni loves Chachi.
Yeah, but so anyway, so the show drops like literally in the wake of all of this stuff going on, and the show is largely about like this guy who wants to run the newspaper in a like really ethical way, and so there's like episodes in which they deal with like a conflict of interest because like the toilet paper company gets into kind of a scandal, and they have the guy who's the head of the toilet paper side of things being like, you can't fucking write an article about this, and then being like, we're gonna write an article about this, and they have to like solve those problems. So I was like, oh, this is really weird timing because that show has been in the works for a year. Like they didn't know they were going to.
Is it weird timing, or is there always a scandal about media somewhere?
Sure.
Like whenever you drop it, there's going to be something that happened recently.
Fair. Weird timing as far as me being aware of it. So, but anyway, so like it just made me think like that's a real thing that needs to, how do we deal with? Because
I think the ones like the YouTube one is so much minor compared to Jeff Bezos sucking Donald Trump's asshole and owning the Washington Post. The one paper that was the previous administration for Trump, I started subscribing to it because they were the ones doing all the exposés and the investigative reporting. And this time he's like, give me your cock. Here's I'll fire anyone or
is it his cock or his asshole? Can we get a metaphor straight here?
No, it's not a metaphor. It's literal.
It's literal.
Sarah's probably going to text me. Can you stop screaming cock and asshole? Logan's in the house.
Now Logan's writing a song.
No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's the bigger, because frankly, even if they came out and said, like, without Dark Money, and said, "Hey, the Democratic Party is funding this YouTube thing, so I can tell you guys to vote against Trump," I'd be like, "Yeah, good job, Democratic Party. You're finally smart."
Yeah.
That's the way you should be doing it. But yeah,
well,
but I mean, it's scarcely worse that I mean, Robert Murdoch owns half of the media in the world, and he was the one who decided to get Trump elected in 2016. You know?
Yeah.
I also, though, want to talk about like the importance of, back to your description of like punditry versus journalism. I want to get into journalism. I don't want to get into journalism. I want to talk.
I majored in it. I wanted to get into journalism. I'm happy I didn't, since it doesn't exist anymore.
Right, but that's another problem. Is that is a huge part of our news cycle and our information vacuum that we have in this country is because there is no money to be made in real journalism.
Well, so I don't know if it's not money to be made. I would say the problem with journalism goes back to the same person who caused every problem we have in politics today, Ronald Reagan, who got rid of the fairness doctrine. And he said the first time TV news is a profit center for stations. It used to be, to have a network, you had to have the news and it had to be impartial.
Yeah.
And he got rid of that. It used to be, if you're going to talk about Trump, you have to talk about Biden. You had to give fair and equal coverage to both. He got rid of that. So once that went away on TV, it took a generation, but it then went away in newspapers. I mean, you know, he undermined what journalism meant to Americans. Yeah. Like, it used to be, you trusted the journalists because they were going to give you an accurate thing. And now there's no reason to trust the TV ones, and there's no reason to trust the print ones anymore, because it's just though I don't know if there ever really was for print. I mean, there's always left and right skewed things, and you hope it stays on the editorial page. But part of the editor's job is to say, like the paper company and the toilet paper company, to say, don't cover that story. Like, you don't know what stories just aren't covered.
Well, it's absolutely true. You're right about that. But one of the things that we're missing in a large way is, if we don't have funding in those like little, you know, the Cary, you know, Gazette or whatever. Is there a Cary News? Okay. Yeah. The Cary News, like, if we don't have the proper funding, we also don't have like local, like, there's a lot of that comes, that, you know, you can feed upward. Like, so like if you're the Cary News and you're like, okay, well, I'm reporting the minutes of, you know, the town council meeting and this and that, and, you know, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter to anybody outside of Cary. Some of it doesn't matter to people inside Cary. But then every once in a while you go, oh, well, we found out that
quiz Mike and say, name everyone on the Cary Town Council.
And I was going to say Matthew.
Then the Cary News might say, might do an article, you know, might investigate and find out that you know, because we have a tech billionaire who's using a, you know, loophole in taxes in Cary specifically, that might get funneled upward, and you say, okay, well, that gets picked up by the News and Observer, Raleigh service, and then eventually, you know, like, and so there is an extent to which it's like everything else in this political landscape of, the little part is somewhat as important as the big part, because we need to focus on everything. And when we let these drop, you know, when we don't worry about it, you can get some real bad things happening. So just like you can get like a unopposed Klansman in Chicago or whatever, as a, you know, like a town council person, you can end up getting news articles that or news stories that would have gotten covered by these tiny little newspapers that aren't getting funded as well anymore, and they're not getting scaled upward either.
And as a journalism major, the thing I hate the most, I majored in journalism, was for a while, was the way you were taught to write an article in the old days was most important thing first. Like, you went from like a pyramid, right? The most important thing, then more detail going down. So that if you need to cut an article, you can cut paragraphs off the bottom, and you were getting less important information. And if you're reading the paper, you can skim the first few paragraphs of every article and get the gist of everything going on, and only read the full article of something that really you're into.
Yeah.
And now, because everything's written for the web primarily, even if there is a print version, it's also on the web. And the goal is not to pay 25 cents for the newspaper, it's to see ads while you're on the article. They have
Longer
flipped that
pays.
pyramid upside down. And you have to get, it says major restaurant filing for bankruptcy. It used to be, it would say, Alex's Crab Shack.
The name of the dang restaurant would be in the first paragraph.
Paragraph 30 says, and by the way, it's Alex's in Chicago.
And you may have
it's
had
not
to
even
click
here
next
local.
30 times too.
Right. I mean, and that's the way, and like they're written the opposite. So even if you want to read articles, you are getting less information now because you have to get through garbage to get to the real article because their only way to make money is to have you on the page.
Yeah.
So they can charge their sponsors more money.
Yeah, that's covered in the paper. There's the first, I think it was the pilot. One of the people who was in charge before this new guy comes in at the episode, she's talking about how she ran the online version, and she's like, "Look at this article I wrote," and she's like, "Hold on, next, and it's just ads.
That's great. I like it.
It's so good. It's like a really good indictment of the current, media.
The media landscape online, or just media altogether.
Yeah, but so how do we solve the problem?
We need the fairness.
The three of us.
The way it needs to get solved is the fairness doctrine needs to be repassed. Not going to happen under Republicans for sure. Probably not going to happen under Democrats. No chance under Republicans. I don't know if there's a chance under Democrats. I don't think it's not like it's anything that anybody is campaigning on.
I actually think that there is a chance that you're going to probably disagree with me on this one, Matthew, but I think that you have a better chance of convincing Republicans on something like that because they've been so set up to believe that the media is always against conservatism.
True.
That you could potentially, I think, whereas Democrats can really.
I see your point. I think the Republican sheep who vote for them.
Not the politicians.
The politicians know that reality is the opposite of what they're saying. So the last thing they want is reality being reported.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. To get pressure to do it.
I think that that primed, that's the word I was looking for. They've been primed to think that all of media is against them. So if you wanted to say let's institute the fairness doctrine and fix this problem, I think you're right that it has no shot in hell, but you have a better shot with the Republican base than you do with the Democrat base.
It's like was it? I forget if it was Eastern or Western philosophy. It was either Confucius or Aristotle. I can't remember. I don't remember which one. It said you can't get toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
Yes, it was one of those two Greek philosophers that said that. Yes,
I'm not sure which one it was, but it was one of them.
I really believe that, like Matthew agrees, it's not going to be in a traditional package. So it would definitely need to be something that seems to play to someone's strengths and then obviously expose another weakness. So we were speaking earlier about the specific situations where there's opinion pieces and PACs that aren't really PACs but really are paying for sponsorship or salaries or promoting their products on a specific media outlet. So what I would like, and this would be a great way to better legitimize proper media again and journalism, would be no direct funding products connections to specific products, services, or political action committees. And more importantly, have a governing body that is also not politically affiliated and is not even have the government hire them, but have them be a third-party contractor. So there's that many more separate layers of separation from the government, because otherwise they would be lost.
How to protect them is the problem, because you have Trump now trying to fire people who are in that position.
No,
that's the Fed, right? The Fed is supposed to the Fed, and you have Trump putting all this pressure to make the Fed leader step down or get fired. And there's other groups like that where Trump is trying to fire people who are like, you can't fire me. That's not your job.
That's not your job. You don't even. I don't even.
I'm God. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
And but he can put enough pressure on the people who can.
Yeah.
To make things happen. So that's. I think I agree with you, but executing it is the hard part.
Yeah. And I'm
To an
aware that
extent-
execution is going to be the harder part of this, obviously.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement.
Well, I mean, execution definitely is the harder part, but I also think
But
that,
only if they can fucking do like a Nuremberg on him, and get the.
oh, you're talking about actual execution.
Oh, is that what you meant?
Bring back the guillotine. No. As far as like taking execution off, because obviously execution is difficult. To execute. It's I think that getting money out of politics is somewhat simpler. That's very relative than it is to get money out of journalism, because I think, like, you can say, like, politicians can't accept money. You can't really tell journalists they can't accept money. Like, that becomes...
It would have to be some sort of certification that says this is a journalist. Like, being canned credentialed.
Some kind of governing body, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because anybody can, spout whatever they want. Like that. Like, to me, you're not a journalist just because you have a microphone. We're not journalists just because we're able to share our opinion on the internet.
Very true.
So they went to a way of saying it's something that is it's scary because it's like, I don't want to say you need a government approved, Russian media.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you're looking for. Well, but you want something that is a third party, to Alex's point, certified, like some kind of ombudsman situation that says.
I mean, companies have them all day.
Yeah, to show they're doing the best interest.
So,
the tough thing with government, though, is our Supreme Court said giving money is free speech, and companies can give as much money as they want to whatever politician they want because that's free speech. That's Citizens United. So it's tough because it's not just pass a law, because we've already been told that law is unconstitutional.
All right, then, if that specific piece cannot be thwarted, then how about...
Not easily. You need to have a new Supreme Court that will overturn it. You need to have a left-leaning Supreme Court, or a reality-leaning Supreme Court who says that was wrongly decided.
Yeah.
So you pass a law, it gets challenged to the Supreme Court because it's unconstitutional, and the new Supreme Court, that's 15 judges, and with all the 6 new ones appointed by President Buttigieg, overrides Citizens United.
Very possible, but I also am the wild person that's going to want balance on something like that. I don't want everything that a more progressive candidate would put up to just pass, and everything that a conservative candidate wants be blocked, because that's not how balance works.
No, I want people who are willing to follow the Constitution, not make it up as they go along.
Make it up, yeah.
Which is with the car, like, not a matter of left or right. It's a matter of the people who the right have put on, or people who don't believe in the Constitution. They believe in getting their opinion across.
Yes.
So you need people on, and I think people on the judges on the left are like. I mean, like, you see, like, there's often things where 1 or 2 or 3 of the left judges vote with the right because they say, as a matter of law, I think it's right, because they're willing to vote against their personal opinion if they think it's what the law says.
Correct.
And that's what we need.
And other than Roberts occasionally does that the opposite direction, but I honestly think there's an extent to which that is let's not.
So does Amy Coney Barrett. She occasionally votes for things, or more often she just doesn't agree with 100%. She agrees with 8 out of 10 things on the list.
So
I think when it comes to those two, and I could be wrong, and I hope maybe I am wrong. Maybe they are genuinely principled. I wonder how much of that is preservation of, like, if we go too wild on, the correction could really fuck things up for us. And so I wonder how, especially with Roberts, because Roberts has been trying to hold the court together to some extent, whether it's for good reasons or not.
True.
He wants to do that. So I think that's why he has been more, I don't want to say impartial, but more impartial than the other conservative judges.
I think for Barrett, it's legitimately she does what she thinks is right. I mean, and I think 8 times out of 10, she's not with the Constitution. She's like, it's religion, and I'm overriding the Constitution because religion is more important. I think she has horrible takes 8 times out of 10. But I think when she goes against the majority, it's not political. It's, well, that's what the law should be.
Yeah.
And she doesn't personally object to the law that time, like, as opposed to just going along with the right. Yeah. For Roberts, I think things he does is more politically motivated. He doesn't want his grandchildren learning about him. in
You're
history
right.
books as what he is.
Well, he also doesn't want to be the last guy to be the
Supreme Court died under me.
yeah. I mean, I think there is an extent to which that weighs into somebody of that level because
Yeah, I think I'm serious. Like, if there was a huge flip of both houses and the presidency, in the coming election cycles, that
hey,
the
you're
president
making me hard
goes
over here. Don't say that.
the president goes to the Supreme Court and says, "Hey, listen, we're going to pass a new federal court, reappropriation law, and it's going to be setting up new districts because the federal courts are overwhelmed. So we're going to do 15 districts, and those districts are going to get a lot of manpower, new judges being appointed to them. And here's the thing: you guys are horrible. So either 4 of you on the right resign, so we can put new people in and I'll put moderate people in if you do. I'll put people even on left and right, but people who are moderate.
I'll put Merrick Garland,
who will make decisions based on the Constitution in. Or if you don't want to resign to do that, because I can't make you, then those 15 districts of each one needs a Supreme Court justice. So I need to appoint 6 more justices to be aligned to each one of those districts. And at the same time, while I'm rolling, that'll also be a time to say, we're going to redo the House of Representatives and say X amount of voters or residents, let's be voters, X amount of residents equals one House of Representatives member. Because right now it's not consistent.
No.
Different. There's some states where it's 500,000, other where it's 100,000. Like, it's just because they're trying to stick to 435, and so it's not been consistent. So forget the 435 number and just make up a number, or say it's 435, divide how many people are in America, and say, well, that's the number, how many go per thing, and redistrict based on that in every state. And so I would prefer increasing the number potentially of representatives, but whichever way, so that there's every person's vote to the Congress equals the same thing. It's not some places where 500,000 people elect a representative and other places where 100,000 do. So your vote is worth 5 times the value. Like, that needs to go away. And we haven't redistricted like that since the population was 30 million instead of 300 million. Like, we've grown by 10 times and we haven't gone back and fixed the numbers in politics.
Yeah.
So that's my
just
campaign.
Out of curiosity, when was that? Do you know?
I think it was the 30s. I mean, it's been a long time since I looked it up. When I looked it up,
so it was also
like
before we had 50 states. So, like,
it potentially was, yeah. I mean, like, if I'm right that it was the 30s, then it was. Yeah. It was 48, right?
So
at most, because
right,
I know that I don't remember when the 48th state became a state.
Because no one cares.
But I know that both the last 2 were the year my dad was born. So,
so if it really would be that difficult to say pull the money or the donations out of this, just put everybody on blast and have it all be transparent. Because I have noticed that shame is oddly powerful in the current administration.
It's hard to do transparent though, because
I know.
If you're the Koch brothers, you own 30 companies that then have 30 subsidiaries each that have 25. That ends up being like, oh, look, Mom and Pop Kent's hardware store gave this much money, but they're owned by the Koch brothers if you go high enough up. And there were 100 of those Mom and Pop Kent things that gave the money. But they really were all coming from the same place.
But guess what? That is 100% going to be easier to legislate for than it would say, oh, you just can't do money anymore. Like,
we can't legislate, you can't do money.
Right. No. So no, we'll let you pay as much as you want, but everybody's going to know where it came from.
Yeah.
That helps the problem. I don't know that solves the problem, though.
I don't think
because right now everybody knows that every big company. I mean, there is Glassdoor, so you can see where companies donate their money. And most companies donate 80% of their money to Republicans because they think they'll get better laws from Republicans in the normal run of things. They have no shame. They know that Republicans are doing shitty things, but they're like, hey,
don't care.
They're going to do less restrictions. And by law, if they're publicly traded, they have to do whatever is best for their shareholders, not their customers, not their employees, not the rest of America. Like, one thing about GSK that I loved a lot of things about it, but like, they would always push you to join the GSK pact where where you get involved and lobby yourself, and you get involved and give money and whatever, donate money, because the company didn't donate money, it collected from the employees. And they were transparent about where the money went, and like 80% of it went to Republicans. And I'm like, hey guys, our vaccine business is going to be destroyed by throat frog Kennedy, and because you gave Trump money to, or Republicans who appointed, who passed his appointment, voted for him, you gave them money because you thought it would help you because they do lower taxes or whatever reason you thought. But they're the ones who are now destroying your industry. You reap what you sow.
Throat frog Kennedy's had a couple of days, huh? I loved seeing the Raphael Warnock
the Warnock one,
interview where he was saying you need to resign, and if you are unwilling to resign, President Trump needs to fire you. Like, that's what needs to happen for the good of America. You are a danger to America.
Yep.
I was like, oh shit.
Plain as can be.
Kennedy be like, I'm a danger. How am I a danger? And
because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know how I'm not
half
trying
the
to be the
CDC
HHS
quits and say
secretary?
they quit because of you.
There's a reason. Because I'm not good at
it. So I had this thought maybe less than since the last time we recorded. I had this thought of, as much as obviously you and the three of us think Trump's a terrible president.
I don't think Alex has ever said that.
Yeah, I think
Alex loves Trump.
But anyway, as much as we think that, like, there's an extent to which you might say, like, oh, I'm more of a Bush guy, I'm more of an Obama guy. I'm, there's like kind of a, not to say that they're on equal footing, but like there's more of a, there's been a little bit of back and forth on, like, we always can convince ourselves the economy is fine under our guy, and we can, both, there's a little bit of that. One thing that hasn't really been a factor since Reagan or earlier is the country being noticeably and verifiably less healthy.
Yeah.
Under a president than like, you can say like, oh, Trump's economy, whatever, like people will do that, but it's like, we have never seen a president who's so fucked up that even the health secretary, like, usually the health secretary is fairly
So, for years,
inconsequential.
Inconsequential.
Yeah.
I have argued with people for years about, because I worked in health industry, right? About single payer healthcare and wanting Medicare for all or whatever, single payer healthcare.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, was I wrong? Because what if we were all on single payer healthcare right now and RFK was in charge of it? Like, vaccines would not be covered for anyone because he would just take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not, it's not an issue for Medicare.
He has some
so
kind of
much.
weird agenda against them. He's taken.
Right. Like, I never dreamt that the person in charge of Health and Human Services would be someone we couldn't trust to be pro health. Like, the argument was always, listen, the insurance companies want to make money. Yeah. And sometimes doing the healthy thing, like being pro vaccine, is pro money for them because it costs more to pay for your COVID hospital visit than it does a COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So there's times where they do want to pay for the vaccine. That's to our benefit. But wouldn't it be better if it were the government who has zero profit motive? They just want to do us right.
Yeah.
I never dreamt the government would just want to do us wrong. Like, the Republicans used to, when Obama was working on the Affordable Care Act, say it was going to be death panels.
Yeah.
And that was just an exaggeration of someone's going to make the decision of what's covered and what's not. And the response was always like, you morons, that's what we have now with the insurance companies. They decide what's covered and what's not. And the fact that we have different programs, different plans, and my plan is more expensive and better than Alex's plan, means Alex's plan has more things you can die on because it's not covered.
Yeah.
And mine is covered. That's why I have a better plan.
Mm-hmm.
The death panel people.
It seemed to make sense to do government, but now that there's Kennedy, I'm like, maybe I was wrong. Like, I'm so happy Kennedy's not in charge of my insurance directly.
The death panel people are the same people who, in the beginning of COVID, were like, yeah, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't care about the old people. And then they were the same. They're the same people who are like, if you came here illegally, I don't give a fuck if you're.
They want to be the panel. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you committed a crime, so like a cop gets to shoot you. Those are the death panel people.
Yeah, that's true.
No, maybe you committed a crime. That's more important.
Maybe
you committed a crime. You're suspected,
or maybe you committed.
You're running near a crime scene. They get to shoot you.
You have tattoos
black.
and look
All black.
Hispanic. Come with me.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I'm going to say here. I'll say this on the live stream, but we got to edit this out.
So I like. I really believe that. I know this is money related, but healthcare, because pharma donations got brought up during RFK's hearing. I really believe
Michael's
that
naked again.
No, it's fine.
Logan's
I
naked
really
again.
believe that the Dutch have it right. So they have government funded.
The man and the woman
private-
pay separately on their
Yeah.
date.
What?
The men and women pay separately on their date. Isn't that going
Maybe.
Dutch?
So in the Dutch government, in the Dutch healthcare system, like the folks that have healthcare, because it's public, it's government run, but it's a private company that does it. So
Next
it's
time, use the
for
microphone when you turn
profit
off the
to
camera.
increase the.
Oh, I hit the wrong mute button.
Yeah, you certainly did. It's for profit to increase innovation and desire and all the good capitalism parts of it. But then it's only one dedicated company that does it, and their only customer is the Dutch people. Like, that is, to me, the ideal balance. Because all the money's transparent, not a dang person questions where it comes from, and because it's also government, they can't influence individuals because they can't donate to any kind of candidate. So that's an ideal way to do it. Would that fly here? No. I do not think, and I've talked with Holly about this, I don't think that our country that is so deep rooted in a capitalism process and it's built on that, like, ideals, we can't just go be that other country. Like, that's insane. You wouldn't do that to anything, because it would kill the economy, trash the education, and healthcare would go tits up. But I believe that this is a perfect, because again, when politics swing to extremes, we unfortunately are going to get a rather unbalanced but progressive and liberal person in office next. I think that would be fantastic, but I still want balance.
Well, the most extreme liberal in America is moderate in the rest of the world. So
this is okay. This is also
the pendulum
true.
can't even swing that far left in America.
And the most extreme liberal progressive person we've ever had in as president
Joe Biden.
is Joe Biden or Jimmy Carter. Which
no, it was definitely more
before
Carter.
Alex and I were born. But like and by this standard, they're nothing compared to a Bernie, and Bernie is nothing compared to Sweden or whatever. But
yeah. I mean, the average, like, Nixon would be a Democrat policy-wise.
Yeah.
In some ways, Reagan is too far left.
Reagan's way too. Reagan would not pass the purity tests for Republicans now at all.
No.
I mean, Reagan and Bush were, totally pro-immigration from Mexico. They were not anti-immigration at all.
So, and the reason I want, so the whole money out of politics talk, yeah, I get that. But what's bothering me more is kind of what we talked about at the top of the episode. And that is the same folks that have no problem with the money being in the media are the same ones that are screaming from the minarets to try to tell you that it's paid and fake.
Yeah, so the
so
tough thing right now
they're talking out their ass to begin with, and then the idea that we as the modern we have been told to not trust the media has made this uprising of the opinion piece media, which is social media. And you have folks, I am guilty of this, going to Twitter to try to find at least something that's going on with a story before I'm ever going to see it on national broadcast or online, because everybody's got the printing press in their pocket. Callback from another episode. So
Let's not shit on Steve Gutenberg again, though. Okay,
no. I
that
said
video
printing
did
press.
get more hits than anything else.
So for me, I want that balance to come back. I'm not saying don't trust the opinion piece, because opinion / entertainment is way more popular than cable news.
You don't trust anything without verifying. Listen to it, learn from it, but then go verify. Are they accurate?
Yeah.
Are they correct?
No, I 100% agree on
I mean,
that.
it's definitely the same as like. I mean, I don't do that. I don't go on that Twitter site anymore. But
I
even
know
when I
you
did
don't.
for news, it was a news aggregator. Like I looked at headlines, then went to
Yeah.
read the article. Like I used to pay for the Washington Post, like I said, because they were doing good investigative work, and that was my thing. Is I don't care who says it, I don't trust it till I see it in
I
the
don't either.
Post. Was my mantra for until I got rid of the Post because Bezos became, just gave in. So, but
What did he
so
do again?
Bezos glucking on that Dom rod.
Gluckin.
so what's challenging with the money is like I love when a particular politician will say, "Well, I'm not taking money from this industry. I'm going to take money from this."
Yeah.
But then that puts them at, I don't have money when my competitor does,
Yeah,
and money is so important. So it's really challenging.
Unless they're like a, like there's a few of these, like a Bernie or a maybe Mamdani.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the small level. Like
Yeah.
In my little lovely town of Apex, North Carolina, municipal elections are coming up in November. There are 3 open spots on the board. One person's running for re-election. 2 people are stepping down, not running. And no. But there are 6 or 8 people. I'm not even sure how many running right now. It's open. Municipal elections open, so that
open ticket,
doesn't make a difference to how many Democrats and Republicans or independents or whatever are running. It's just that the top 3 vote getters get the 3 seats.
Yeah.
So 3 of them, I'll say their names because it's the 3 I like. Ed Gray is running for re-election. Shane Reese and Sue Moo.
So I know Shane and Sue. Yes, I know of those names. I don't know the first one.
Yeah,
Ed Gray's
the one that is currently on. He's running for re-election. He's the mayor pro tem. He's running for re-election.
But he's the one you want to have on the show, right?
Yeah. Ed has talked to me about being on the show. So the 3 of them have recently said one of the big issues in Apex is development. That in the past we let developers do whatever they want, and in the last 10 or 12 years, as there's been more people first members of the town council, they've gone the other way a lot, and it's a lot more restrictions on them. But those developers are trying hard to get things their way. So a lot of the people who are running to get those seats now would be much more likely to say, yeah, build a giant factory in the middle of our neighborhood, whatever you want to do, chop down all the trees, whatever you want to do. And those developers give lots of money to local politicians. They offer lots of money. So the 3 of them, Ed, Sue, and Shane, have publicly said, we're not taking any money from developers or developer PACs. Like, we don't want developer money. Our goal is we want growth, because the opposite of growth is stagnation, and we don't want that. But we want controlled growth for the people, not for the companies. It needs to be what works best for the residents of Apex.
Yeah,
and that's great. I'm like, but I'm really worried that now that all that extra money that's not going to them can go to their opponents, who will then be more likely to be on the side of the developers. I mean, just because you take money from someone doesn't mean you're going to do their bidding.
True.
But also often they give you money because they know you're going to do their bidding anyway. It's what you wanted. Like NRA, those are people who love guns and gives them money. It's not necessarily doesn't mean they're being corrupt, for taking the money. They're taking the money from someone they were going to support anyway.
But
that
we do a fundraiser for them.
There's one person running for Wake County Commissioner. I don't want to say their name online, but that person is sending mailers out. There's like 35,000 people that vote for that position because it's at large. No other county commissioner candidate has the money to send mailers, full color glossy mailers to everybody in Wake County. So they're just sitting back going, how does this person have all this money? And this person is in a job that sells software systems to the government that the county commissioner would be in charge of. So it's like, I wonder how many companies are backing that person to get them on the board and giving them all this money that the other commissioner, like you haven't heard any of the other commissioners' names yet because it's early, but you may have gotten mailings from this one.
So you are, hold on. You are so involved in your local government, Matthew. I have wanted to ask this of a person that probably understands it better than I do. Why does the amount, just the total purse of money, if that money can do nothing else but influence a vote, and it can only ever influence one vote for one person, why is the chasing the coin so focused on if you have good policy, good head on your shoulders, you're not a creepy weirdo in your past, and you're doing what's right for the folks who are going to be your constituents? why does having $5,000 for every night to run an ad make a shit of difference? I am so
I'll give you the
naive on
answer.
this, and I
give
want
you
to know.
The answer is super easy. Most voters are low information voters. They have not been to your website. They do not know your policies. They have not researched anything. They've not watched a debate or an interview.
So
they
those
watch
are not for
the
me.
TV commercials. Those are the most voters.
Okay.
I mean, so people say often.
I was saying the size of the microphone is what I was pointing at the microphone for.
But so most people, it's the name they've heard most often is the one they vote for. So people say, what is the deal with yard signs? Why do you put up yard signs? Well, I'm not voting for someone because they had a lot of yard signs.
I'm not either.
And the response is, but every study shows the more yard signs you have, the more likely you are to win because you're not the average voter.
I was about to say,
vote for the sign they've seen most often. Like, oh yeah, I've heard of that guy. I've seen his sign.
Okay.
That's and horrible as it is, they wouldn't spend money on signs. Like I say, when people used to say, "Oh, pharma companies waste so much money in marketing," and I'd be like,
no,
"We don't waste a dime in marketing.
Nope.
Because if it didn't end up selling more product, we wouldn't do it. Like we measure the hell out of everything we spend. If there's not a positive return on investment, you don't do it. Politicians wouldn't spend money if it didn't get more votes.
Yeah,
and it does.
Yeah.
So
name recognition. That's why one of the things that I like celebrities like Trump. One of the things that helped him do so well in the primary, in 2016, like in the early primary where there's a dozen people, is name recognition. They're like, oh, I know who Trump is. He's cool. I've seen him on TV. Oh, I know who Jeb Bush is. His brother was president. Like there's a handful right away, and they're automatically the top tier because you know their names.
Yeah.
So
and cutting through that is harder. I mean, you get because look at like Obama in 2008. He was like arguably the least well known at the beginning of that primary, and he was able to cut through it because of how charming and everything else compared to the slate of people. You don't think Obama was charming?
Oh, sorry. No. Yes. He was charming. I thought you said Trump
that guy.
Charming. What the fuck are you talking
about? Trump is also very charismatic in his way.
Charismatic is not charming.
Yeah, not charming though.
No,
but I mean, there's what was I going to say? There's a certain amount of being seen and heard is more important than what you talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the populist message we were talking about in a previous episode. Just being out there and having your name known. That's who people want to vote for, the person who they've heard of, because they associate it with it must be good, or I wouldn't know their name.
I wouldn't know.
It helps with all marketing if you can get your name brand out there. Like think about books, for example. If you know about a book and you just keep seeing the book and hearing the name of the book, like The Dinner Party coming out November 4th, you're more likely to be like, oh, I literally, when I walk into a bookstore, like, I'm like, oh, I've heard of that book. I saw that book on Instagram. Oh,
it's true.
Shameless plug.
It's like The Dinner Party, right?
The Dinner Party.
Because not everyone's on video, Mike. You're holding it up, and most people listen to this on
I
audio.
said The Dinner Party. I said it in that sentence.
I
said coming out November 4th. It said the
Dinner Party?
The book, the Dinner Party.
The Dinner Party comes out on November 4th.
As opposed to Everything I've Got Left, which is already out on paperback for $9.99 on my website.
So they're saying that people hear about Everything I've Got Left by Michael Christopher Cole and The Dinner Party by Michael Christopher Cole. They're more likely to purchase Everything I Got Left by Michael Christopher Cole and The Dinner Party by Michael Christopher Cole?
Correct.
That's the theory. That's
Interesting.
my light flash.
So now I have a better understanding that I don't get the spending because it's not for me. And it never was.
Right.
Even when I voted Republican, it wasn't for me because I was either already had my mind made up, at least for presidential ticket poll, but maybe not for all the other folks. And I'm going to go read. And also I will admit
so here's the thing. Even
your spending
Democrats
turns me off. If you spend a lot, I am sick of seeing you, and I think you've got something to hide if you're running 20 ads.
Where'd you get the money is a good question sometimes.
Right, I think you've got something to bury,
Even Democrats have complained that one of the things that Harris did wrong in the campaign was focus on trans issues too much. And she never said a word about it unless it was a question asked to her. But the Republican commercials were all about it.
Yep.
So and her surrogates.
Because the Republican commercials, people thought that was the Democratic platform.
Yeah.
And while trans people were like, wish we knew the Democrats cared about us. They don't do anything for us.
Yeah.
But the commercials are more important than anything else because that's what people know about you, what they saw in the commercial. And if they didn't see your commercial, they saw your opponent's commercial and they believed that one.
Yep.
For that level, when you're at that level where there's commercials, but
Now
it's
I know.
on a lower level. It's unfortunately it seems like because it would piss me off every year. Like people will call me or reach out to me on Facebook and say, "Hey, who should I be voting for agriculture and for soil and for this?" And it doesn't piss me off that they ask because, like you say, I'm tied in with local politics and I can give you even if I haven't met the people for soil, I can call up two representatives that I'm friends with and say, "Hey, who do you guys recommend? I mean, I trust your recommendation," and then share that. But what pissed me off is people like, it's the week before and they're asking questions about people. I'm like, have you met anyone? Because they've all had picnics. There's been there's picnics where all the candidates, the Dems do it, the Republicans do it. There's dinners at bars. There's kickoffs. There's meet and
They
greets.
want to meet you.
If you go to their social medias and follow their social media, you will find out where they're going to be and when. If you participate in your town, like if you go to Pride events, you'll meet the Democratic candidates, at least at Pride. If you go to things like Carry Lazy Days or Apex Peak Days that are nonpartisan, you will meet all the candidates who are currently running. They're going to be there. It's not hard to meet them. I remember this one year, I realized that out of the 21 people running on my ballot, I had met 19 of the 21 people running, not the people I'm voting for, the people running. I had met 21 out of the 19 out of 21. That included having met Elizabeth Warren, kind of thing.
She spoke at my graduation from college.
Yeah.
Mine was
Madhavi and Leah volunteer. Whenever there's presidential people they like in town, they volunteer to work. Even if it's multiple people, they're not like they work for 2 or 3 different candidates when they're coming to town. Not even necessarily the one who they're going to vote for. They just want to be engaged and have a chance to meet them. They volunteered for Michael Bloomberg's campaign kickoff to meet him.
The clip that you're playing with in your hand, it's all I can hear. And I didn't know what it was for a while, and you held it up, and I was like, quit it with the fucking clip.
It would be on too long. I can't sit quiet that long.
I can't either. I've been bouncing my leg the whole time, trust me.
Madhavi and Leah went and volunteered for Michael Bloomberg's kickoff, and they don't even like Michael Bloomberg, but they wanted to meet another candidate, because he may have ended up being the candidate, and they wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
And they got interviewed by...
Bloomberg Media Bloomberg?
Yeah, he was the mayor of New York.
Oh, okay.
He was the one that they were throwing in there because they're like...
No one was right enough for them.
Yeah.
They wanted for the more centrist.
Yep.
And
Bloomberg made North Carolina news recently, so...
Yeah, they he also funded Everytown for gun safety, which sponsors Moms Demand Action. So they like that one aspect of him. Being from New York, he's anti-gun. But they got interviewed by the Spanish TV networks because they thought they were Spanish. It's their dark skin. They get mistaken for... That's why we're a little afraid with ICE, because they get mistaken for Latino all the time. Madhavi has been berated by older Latina women for not speaking Spanish, like for not knowing her culture. And Madhavi has to talk back to them in Marathi to prove that she knows her culture.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if there wasn't the being mistaken for Hispanic, it's probably not a great time to be Indian either.
No.
In America.
No.
I'll be serious. It's not a great time to be anything but what the three of us are.
My children my wife and my children all carry their passports with them all the time. I don't know
Your
if
daughter was telling us that,
but they carry their passport all the time.
Your daughter told us that, and it genuinely made my wife like straight sad. Like she kept bringing it up on the drive home. She's like, that is so unfortunate that a grown woman does that because her genuine fear that she doesn't appear to be something, and she's a woman,
people keep asking, "Oh, you're retired? You guys going to travel?" Yeah, around America. We're going to Arizona. We're going to Asheville. We're going to Myrtle Beach. We're not going. My wife's not leaving the country and trying to get back in.
No,
I mean, my daughter's left twice since Trump's been, and she is a naturalized. She only became a citizen like last year, but she's brave enough to leave and come back. And we're like being Arabic, and we're like.
Oh, your daughter-in-law. I thought you meant Leah. I was like, when did Leah leave the country?
Jacob's wife was from Saudi Arabia, got her citizenship, but she's been brave enough to do it. And we're like, I mean, you're right in theory, but how long before they don't carry that you're a citizen either?
Yeah.
I mean, the people at the Hyundai plant you mentioned earlier, they were here legally. They're all legal workers. There was nothing illegal about them. They're being here, and they were still dragged out.
Yeah, they were still removed, and the
No one
folks
cares.
doing the fighting the fire in Washington State. They were. They
You know,
were,
it's funny though. It
incarcerated.
occurs to me that anybody watching one of our videos is like fighting the fire of lack of knowledge within them. And to really fight that fire, they need to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell and comment firefighter type things in the comment thing, because that helps the algorithm, and the algorithm will spread the water of clarity around the fire more. So if you're watching this on video, if you've watched any of our clips, like them, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you know when there's more. If you're just sticking it into your ear holes, I don't know what to tell you.
If you're sticking it into your ear holes, thank you. And whatever podcast platform that you're listening to on, give us a like or a thumbs up or whatever they allow you to do.
Hell, just go into iTunes and give us a 5-star review, even if you don't
Yeah.
use iTunes to listen to us. I do that for all the podcasts I listen to. I have iTunes on my computer just to review podcasts.
Yeah. And if for some reason you aren't happy with just giving us moral support, we're not journalists. You can pay us. You can go to patreon.com/talkingaboutthebigstuff. What was that, Matthew?
I mean, I think it was patreon.com/talkingaboutthebigstuff.
It was.
But I will say, when I was creating my link tree, I looked it up. I went to patreon.com to see what our URL was.
Just to make sure.
Patreon.
It didn't even occur to me that I say it every
time.
Yeah. Yep. So go to patreon.com/talkingaboutthebigstuff. You can get on these live streams with us. We take chats while we're doing this. Like,
and you know what? If you're on the live stream, you get to hear the things that come after. This needs to be edited out for the final version.
Yep, you get to do that.
I'm going to admit to potentially committing a crime. Edit this out. You get to hear that if you're on the live stream.
Yep, and then that's the freebie option. For $0, you can do that.
That is true.
For $1, if you want to support us with $1 a month.
$1 American dollar?
$1 American dollar.
Ooh, that's hardly worth anything.
Yeah, that's only $12 a year, which is 52 episodes a year that you're getting early.
Probably. Maybe we'll take some weeks off because we're hungover. But
we haven't taken
most years.
We haven't taken a week off in over a year.
But we've skipped weeks for 52 weeks or for live and stuff because
Yeah, for the lives, but
for
we'll
lives,
still
for lives.
You'll still get early access for it.
Sometimes we do doubles and you get 2 live ones in one night and you don't get it the next week.
Yep. Anyway,
doubling up.
So that's the $1 option. There's the $3 option, which gets you all those parts that Matthew was talking about where he commits crimes or whatever. And then for $10, you get the intro before we get.
If you want to know what parts of Donald Trump's body Jeff Bezos puts his mouth, you need to be paying for at least the unedited version.
And it was at least 2. It was at least 2 parts of his body, so that makes you wonder what the second one is, doesn't it?
Or the first.
So that's how you can support us, support the podcast. If you want to support me personally, because as much as these guys aren't employed either, but they haven't written books.
Yeah, I'm working on mine. My book's right side up when I write it, though.
So, if you want, like I mentioned before, you can go get the dinner party. You'd be pre-ordering. You would not be getting it yet, but you can pre-order the dinner party. It's on Amazon and all the other book places, but it's on my website for cheaper.
It has fantastic early reviews.
Fantastic.
And they'll accidentally send you a copy early release. That's not done yet.
They will. A whole case of them.
Anybody who's ordering copies on my website is actually getting the copies 2 months early for some reason. So go ahead and do that.
That cover isn't written yet, but you get a copy.
Yeah, exactly. And the color of the paper is different than it's going to be, but
imagine how much that's going to be worth one day.
I know.
Yeah. I thought about advertising it that way. And then my other book, which is paperback, $9.99. Everything I've got left, which is short stories, poems, and essays, also available right now
for $9.99.
$9.99 through my website.
That's less than $10.
It's $14.99 on Amazon and all that.
That's less than $15.
Yeah.
If you buy
And
it from his website, he will personally deliver it to anywhere in the country because he has lots of free time.
But it might not be delivered, in person, personally, like he'll put it in the mail.
Well, yeah, I mean,
No, I
Or
don't
I'll
pay
pay
it in the
someone
mail.
to.
The company does. If you want to get it from me and signed, it's just the shipping is ridiculous to do that because I had to do it for a contest that I did.
Yeah.
And I paid $11 per book for shipping.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not cost effective at all. Like,
Dude.
and
One
that
of
was
my
the cheapest USPS option was $11, and I was like, holy fuck.
There's
Like-
an author I know who would recommend people buy his book from a link on his website from a local bookstore
To pick it
near
up,
him,
yeah.
where he would go to autograph it. No, so he'd go
Oh, that's
autograph the book at the
cool.
local bookstore, and then they would ship you the book you bought from them.
Yeah.
But you get an autographed book because he would like, that could be like, you have to wait a week or whatever. He'd go once a week and sign all the books they were going to ship out that week.
Oh,
I
that's
like that.
I might find out if any bookstores do that, ship to their near here, and be like, I will advertise for this, because that would be a good way to get it bookstores on their radar.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I got my copy of The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe book is signed by all the hosts because I bought it from their website and they signed them all.
That's cool.
Well, I didn't get to meet them. I got the signatures released.
Nice.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. All right. So.
Oh, and also, you know what, guys? You should follow Brooklyn Brothers Food Review on YouTube and Instagram because we've started doing a lot more stuff. I've done dozens of videos in the last month, literally. So we're doing more stuff on there. So it's fun. It's fun stuff. It's food reviews, hot sauce reviews, watching me eat stuff. If you're into ASMR, people eating, it's not the goal of it, but I eat because I taste everything. If you have misophonia, whatever, you don't like listen to people chew, then don't subscribe.
Yeah. And by the time this comes out, we'll have already this comes out. Yeah, we will already be announcing for sure. So I'll do it now. Alex and I are going to be starting a new podcast.
What?
Called Cinemen. Cinemen.
Because they sin a lot.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, because it's about cinema.
I didn't know that.
So it's CINE -MAN or MEN.
MEN, yeah.
Yep. And we're going to be starting off for October. So we'll be doing some horror movies. Yeah. So let's.
I'm excited for it, folks.
Horrors.
Matthew, you got a last thought?
My last thought is thanks for hanging around and talking about the big stuff, even if you didn't pay us.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. If you have thoughts or questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, drop us a line on our social media channels. Engage with this video when you are now watching it as a VOD on YouTube. Send us an email. We love hearing from our listeners, bringing us topics, because if you leave it up to the three of us, we're going to eventually be talking about underwater basket weaving. So we would appreciate you guys reaching out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to Talking About the Big Stuff on your favorite platform. Give us a 5-star rating. Engage with it. Criticize us. We need to grow and be better, and you're going to help us be there. You're going to help us get to that point. It really helps us more to reach out and also to keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more big ideas and more thought-provoking discussions. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep talking about the big stuff.
The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.